Hello, today we are going to have a look at this very nice instrument, which is Cordoba C5-CE classical guitar. I got a very good deal on this guitar because the preamp doesn't work. The seller of this guitar described it as Fishman preamp broke. And when I asked the question what exactly appears to be wrong with it, he said that he doesn't really know and it doesn't work for some reason. And in fact, this is not even a Fishman preamp, this is a B-Band preamp. And there is a big difference. Because they have completely different sensors. Fishman uses a piezo pickup. Well, these pickups are under the saddle, and B-Band uses very thin and flexible, some kind of capacitive sensor. And these capacitive sensors have a softer sound. However, they need to be amplified a little more, so there is some problem with noise floor. As usually, some advantages, some disadvantages, and different people like different sound. So the battery and the output are on this side, and let's have a look what's there. Well, there is no battery at the moment, and let's have a closer look at this from the inside. It appears to me that something is wrong there, as if the wires are cut and some kind of piece of tape holding the ends. So let's try to disassemble this thing and have a look. Okay. So I think I need to disconnect the wire from pickup, for which I need to loosen the strings and reach inside. Okay, now I can reach inside, and there is some kind of connector. The pickup plugs into this preamp. Okay, I disconnected this. Okay, I managed to lift this off. However, on this side there is this tape. So here is the connector for the pickup. So now we can have a closer look of what kind of repair job was done here. I unscrewed this block with battery and output connector to have a look and excuse these reflections in the guitar from the blue mat. So it seems to me that the power wires are missing from the battery to preamp. I have no idea why this was done. Perhaps some kind of incompetent repair job. Okay, I removed a couple of small screws on this side, and this cover just has two hooks on the other side and lifts off. And look at this, nothing was connected at all to the board. and here I see the all wires are cut and the piece of connector is loose inside. So this apparently is a power connector which is broken. I have no idea whether there's some kind of incompetent repair attempt or something like that. So I want to remove all this electronics from the guitar to have a better look and see what I can do. So, because I loosened the strings completely, I can remove this saddle, and here we see this capacitive sensor, or whatever it is, B-Band sensor, which I can push through this hole into the guitar and fetch it from the inside. I'm reaching into the hole with my hand, and I got it, I believe. Oh, there is some kind of a tie to the side of the guitar inside, so I need to have a look. So here I have all the pieces on the bench, and this is the pickup, and this is the part that worries me the most, because it's one piece from this sensitive part. It's flat cable all the way, and it's embedded into the connector, and this looks as if someone tried to tear it apart. So there is some tear on the heat shrink here, and it's loose a little bit around the connector. So I really wonder if they managed to damage it or not. If this thing is broken, then it can easily cost me 50 bucks or so for this pickup alone. And there's certainly some kind of chip for the tuner in here. The preamp should be repairable. I imagine there should be some kind of op-amp with some passives around it. Well, I have an idea how to connect this all back, and I need to carefully test this to see if it works. So I managed to disassemble this thing, remove the knobs, remove the few screws, and look at this. There are two boards here. One board is the tuner, and this is a preamp board with Motorola op-amp and some of the stuff around it. So I think I need to connect the power to this first to have a look if it works. I had a closer look at this board, and now I see that I was wrong calling this power connector. It's clearly the input from pickup, and these wires must run to the battery and output block. The ground is black, red is output, yellow is battery, and this white one must be sense wire from the output connector. It gets grounded when the connector is plugged in, and that must power on the preamp. I attached the power wires, and I will power this on to test. So I hooked it up to this Agilent power supply, and I've set the voltage to 9 volts, and the current is limited to default 0.2 amps. And let's turn it on. Well, nothing happens, which is fine, because that's how it is in the guitar. The battery is connected and everything is powered off, So the preamp gets powered on when we insert the guitar cable, and the tuner is powered on by pushing this button. Let's try. Aha, so tuner powers on, which is wonderful. At least that part seems to work. I made all the connections. I didn't plug in the tuner module. Here is the input connector, and the pickup is plugged in. The output is running to the output connector, and the guitar amp is plugged in. And that pin, which should be grounded to power on the preamp, I grounded right here with this wire. And let's give it a try. That was sound of turning this thing on, and tapping on pickup produces the sound through the guitar amp. So I'm quite happy. It seems like, despite of all the damage, stuff works. And let's have a look at the power consumption. Now only the preamp is powered on, and it's about 1 milliamp, which is great. It means the 9-volt battery should last forever. The tuner obviously consumes more, but it's turned on just for a little while. Here I draw a diagram how all this stuff should be connected. So this output connector has 3 contacts, as if it is a stereo connector, like this. If it is a stereo connector, it has that extra ring for the second channel. But if connector is mono, as in guitars usually, this extra ring is absent, and it's connected to the ground. This whole thing is a ground. So when we plug it in here, effectively this contact gets grounded, so it gets connected to the ground just by plugging the guitar cable into this thing. And this fact is used in one way or another to power up the preamp. In primitive systems, this literally connects the battery negative. In this system, preamp needs power regardless of the connector, because we sometimes use the tuner, so the battery connected all the time. However, this special sense wire, which gets grounded when we plug in the guitar cable, is used in some power circuitry to power the thing up. So, and what I see is that here those 2 extra wires in there, yellow and white, let me see if camera can focus. Those yellow and white are cut, and on the other end they were tucked away with this tape and not used as well. And then someone connected this shield and the output red wire directly to the pickup. However, with this pickup it won't work at all. With traditional pickups, like more traditional I would say, which are piezo pickups, they generate voltage when mechanically deflected, and pretty high voltage in the order of hundreds of millivolts. So this is completely different pickup by B-Band, and I looked at the documentation. They call it electret film. I was wondering, what does it generate? So let's have a look. So here I connected it to the Fluke multimeter, and it's measuring AC voltage. And let's tap on this guy. Okay, I do see some voltage in the order of tens of millivolts. And it's very different from piezo pickups. So this will need a special preamp, and by the way, this one was based on MC33179 op-amp, and I don't think connecting this pickup directly to the output connector would do any good at all. Alright, I carefully wired everything together. This is the last test before I put it into the guitar. And let's have a closer look. So I had to remove this cut, which looks like a connector. It's not really a connector. So these are pins crimped on the wires, and that gets soldered into the board. This is just for convenience of assembly and for rigidity of the construction. So I removed that and carefully soldered it directly to the board. Heat shrunk this to isolate the shield so it doesn't touch anything on the board. I carefully attached this from the pickup connector to the input board pads, and let's see, I put the battery in, connected guitar amp, and tapping on pickup, I hear the sounds in the guitar amplifier. So everything looks good. Now it's time to put it into the guitar. Okay, the guitar is back together again, and it's in tune and plugged in, so no problem, we hear the sound through the amplifier. And I really like this tuner. The usual problem with built-in tuners that they don't show very well how far you're out, and this one has additional arrows on the LCD together with these LEDs. LEDs show if I'm in tune, flat, or sharp. But these additional arrows also help to understand how far I'm out. So let me adjust a tiny bit. Okay, now we're in tune. And when tuner is on, the output is automatically turned off. So now we're back to the amplifier. It works just fine. I'm quite happy that I managed to repair this preamp, so I don't have to buy anything at all. And thanks for watching. Bye.